Welcome back to our Feel Good Breakfast Show, eXpresso, right here on SABC3. Now, our next guest is more than just a gorgeous face. She's, of course, the actress who blew everyone away playing the role of TX in Terminator 3. But more than that, she also has a warm heart and does her bit for charities worldwide. She is in Cape Town as the ambassador for My Life, a dynamic youth development organization. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the lady in action. Take a look at this. And the lovely lady there is, of course, sitting right next to me. Great to have her here, Kristanna Loken. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's lovely to be
here.
I'll be back.
Well, you just did.
I just did. I actually just did. But how was that experience for you? I mean, an amazing experience to be playing alongside one of the legends of the acting game in one of the legendary movies.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience and opportunity. And, you know, I thought, wow, I'm pitted against the male iconic figure of cinema history. So I did a lot of physical training for it. And I just made sure to not hit the multi-million-dollar man in the face.
Which must have been quite difficult because that's exactly what you were required to do.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Now, I know that later on we're going to talk about the charities you're involved in, which is a wonderful, wonderful causes, two of them, as you said to me just earlier on. But let's get into, I want to get into what you had to do to get ready for this role for Terminator playing TX. I understand that you actually had to go and take miming classes because for the first couple of minutes in the movie, your lines are actually very few and far between.
Well, there was lots of training that I had to do. I did weight training, I had a nutritionist. I put on about 15 pounds of muscle mass, so I completely changed my body type. Wow. I did Krav Maga, which is an Israeli form of martial arts. But the mime classes were really the icing on the cake, so to speak. It really helped me eliminate all signs of personal signs of breathing while showing exertion, all those human traits that we take for granted, blinking while firing a gun. So yeah, it was really interesting, and it's very difficult work. They actually work with unseen energies that you work against, like if you're touching the chair or something, and the energy that comes from the chair. So it's a lot harder than it seems, and next time you see a mime, you'll give them a lot more credit.
Definitely, I think so after finding that out right now. But I mean, obviously lots of action in the movie, and I was wondering how some of the stuff was filmed, in particular the scene where you get hit by the truck and you get like tossed over into some barricaded thing. How do they film that?
It was a lot of it was filmed practically. We did have also the same amount of CGI shots, computer-generated imaging that The Matrix had, for instance, but we shot most of it practically first. So what you were seeing, for the most part, would happen, but obviously not me getting actually hit by the truck.
Yeah, otherwise you'd be
But they would then layer the CGI over top of what they would shoot practically. So they'd shoot what they call a plate, of the truck hitting nothing, and then layer in the CGI over top of that.
Very, very cool. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your family, right? I don't know if I may hashtag this as the most embarrassing moment or the coolest moment, but you were featured with your mom and your sister in a calendar, right? Called, what's Love Farm Apple? Your dad is...
Love Apple Farm.
Love Apple Farm, sorry.
Yeah,
Love Apple Farm. What was that all about?
Well, I grew up on an organic fruit farm in upstate New York. Yeah. And my mother was a model for many years, and she had this idea that she was going to make this kind of sexy Love Apple Farm girls calendar. So, so we did, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a hot seller.
That is so cool, yet so embarrassing in a weird way. But let's talk a bit more about the work that you do. Of course, there's the charities. You've got your production company, and I saw an interview of yours where you said that we can all entertain, but at the end of the day, there needs to be a deeper message, and I believe that you're doing that with your production company, right?
Yeah, that was really the crux of Loken Man Productions. We started it last year, and we're just now finishing our first film under the company's title. And that was what I saw around the world doing my various different films and charity work, is that I really wanted to have a platform on which to send a message but also entertain. People like to be entertained, they like to be taken away, but why not send a strong positive message behind the entertainment? So that's what we're doing with our film Love Orchard, which is taken from a true story that actually has happened on my parents' farm where I grew up. It's a story that deals with immigration. Immigration, as you know, has been a problem all over the world. We're seeing a lot of xenophobia as a ripple effect from it. So with this film, we follow the lives of one family that's lived and worked on my parents' farm. They have 3 children. The 2 oldest were born in the U.S., so that makes them U.S. citizens. The youngest child was born on a trip back to Mexico when the father's mother was dying. When they re-enter the country, the little girl at the age of 2.5 faces deportation. Where is she going to go? Her entire family is in the U.S. So my character is an attorney that ends up trying the case on a national level, and in doing so, this family kind of becomes a microcosm of the greater whole of immigration as we've seen throughout countries worldwide. So with this film, we really want to educate people. Immigration is a natural part of the world, and it helps with economies and global structure. So that's what we're really hoping to do with this film. Is
well, great to have you on the show, and I can't wait to talk about that a bit later on as well. And also, you've got to stay tuned, because we know that Kristanna is a bit of an action lady, so we're going to put her through one of the most ancient arts and crafts of action sports. So stick around to see what that is later on. After the break, we have our news at 6 o'clock.
Stay with eXpresso and SABC3.